Hello, Spanish 1 students. Um, Fabulous news. This is our last set of notes for the year. So we are going to finish strong, and we are going to talk about showing possession, ownership, and relationships today. It's a pretty easy concept. So follow along with me. Take notes on what you see on the screen. And I'm going to go ahead and try to post the rest of the work for the year. That way, if you want to work ahead, you totally can. So here we go. So here is the topic for the day, showing possession or ownership. And this can also be used to show relationships. So before we think about how we do this in Spanish, we need to remember and we need to analyze how we do this in English. That makes our lives quite a bit easier. So when we are showing possession or ownership in English, typically there are two ways that we can do this. Let me turn on my little laser pointer. So I'm going to be right here. So the first way and the most common way in English is by using a possessive S. This would be like if I said Peter's house. We know that that house is Peter's. The second way that we can show possession sounds like a little bit old-timey. It's a little bit fancy, upper crust, if you will. So that's by using the word of. So if I said the house of Peter, it's the same exact idea. It's just presented two different ways. They both show ownership. So Peter's house with the possessive S, or the house of Peter. Another example showing a relationship, Macy's sister, or the sister of Macy. So that stuff is pretty basic. So in Spanish, there is no possessive S. That does not exist. I know it's kind of tricky. We always want to try and use it and sneak it into our Spanish, but we can't. So the only way to show ownership is by saying of, that like the house of Peter, the sister of Mary. That's how we're always going to show ownership or a relationship in Spanish. But instead of saying of, we're going to use the Spanish word for it, which is de. So more basic phrases like Tom's mother will sound just a hair more complex, just a little bit more complex, because they're going to be phrased the mother of Tom. So it has the exact same meaning in conversation, but it's just formatted a little bit differently. So we have a magic formula that we are going to use for this, and be extra sure that you have this written down, you have it highlighted or circled or underlined. It's very important. So our magic formula to show possession in this way, we take our definite article. So that's either el, la, los, or las. Then the object, de, and then the owner. So like the house of Peter. The house of Peter would be Peter's house. Or if I said los estudiantes de Señor Clevenger. So you see one arrow comes down from each part of the formula. And it has something that corresponds directly to it. Los estudiantes de Señora Clevenger. So that would be Miss Clevenger's students in English. Okay, I have another example for you. So we have our magic formula, We have la mochila de Elijah. La mochila de Elijah is Elijah's backpack. Elijah's backpack. Okay, so another simple method of showing ownership or relationship in Spanish and in English is by using possessive adjectives. So possessive adjectives are little words showing ownership, obviously, similar to or including my, your, his, her, our, and their. So this would be like my students or your classes, our school. And because these are adjectives in Spanish and in English, but specifically in Spanish, we have to worry about one thing, and that is adjective agreement. This is something we've been working on since like November and December, and I really think you guys are good at it. So this is just a reminder of what adjective agreement actually is. So on this slide, you have the rules for adjective agreement. So if our adjective is paired with a certain noun, it has to match that noun in a few different criteria. If our noun is plural, if our object is plural, our adjective has to be plural. If our object is singular, if there's just one, our adjective needs to be singular. And the adjectives also have to agree in gender. Now this only applies to a few small cases when we're doing possessive adjectives. But just so you know, if your object is feminine, your adjective has to be feminine. And if your object is masculine, the adjective has to be masculine. So here are the possessive adjectives in Spanish. We have a singular option and a plural option for all of these. And then for the no, or to say our and like your alls in Spanish, there's also a feminine version and a masculine version. So let's write this chart down. Take a second, pause the video, and I'm going to go through them and say them right now. So to say my, you have two different options. You can either say mi or mis. So if I say mi amiga, that is my friend, or mis amigos, my friends, plural. Your class would be tu clase. Your classes would be tus clases. And then we have su and sus, nuestro and nuestros, nuestra and nuestras, vuestro and vuestros, vuestra and vuestras, and then once again we have su and sus. So to tell the difference between these, all we have to do is look at the context of the sentence. We have to look at which situations it is used in to tell the difference between his or your alls, hers or theirs. It's just a matter of when and where it is being used. So here are some written examples. We have mi gato versus mis gatos. So my cat versus my cats, plural. So because gatos is plural down here at the bottom, our adjective mis has to be plural as well. Here we have nuestra computadora versus nuestras computadoras. So our computer versus our computers. Because the word computadora is feminine and it ends in an A, we have to pick the feminine version of our. So we picked nuestra and nuestras, which are both feminine. And computadora up top is singular. So we have to pick the feminine and the singular form of our, which is nuestra. Computadoras is feminine and plural. So we pick the feminine plural option. Okay, vuestro profesor. We have profesor is masculine and singular. So we pick the masculine singular form, vuestro, your all's professor. Vuestras profesoras, because this is ending in AS, it is feminine and plural. So it will need a feminine and plural adjective to match up with it. Okay, and that is the end of the notes. It was relatively short and simple. Hopefully your little assignment for this will make sense. And then we are going to begin reviewing for our final exam. So next week, your only assignment is going to be some review. No new material. It'll be great. Okay. I hope you guys have a great day. Let me know if you have any questions or need any help.